All right, so now we're going to look at some features that are really important for our blood donation centers using Intacct. To start, we're going to move to another dashboard here. And we're going to look at how we can run an invoice using information imported from a transfusion inventory management software like Wellsky. So Sockeye has developed a process to help specifically for blood donation centers like you to help be able to bring the information from your software like Wellsky into Intacct to be able to make the invoicing process better. So this is just a simple dashboard to kind of show what's happening with the different sales and invoicing processes. And we're going to first take a look at our actual invoice list here. And drilling down into our order entry module, where it shows a list of all the invoices we so far have imported into the system. So these aren't being created manually. They're actually being created through an import down from here that's being brought in from the process that we've developed to bring that information out of Wellsky. And so once they're in the system, then we're able to run those invoice details. And there's lots of options for how we can run those invoices, what they look like for the formatting. And so these are just some examples of what those could look like. And so when I run the invoice details, it's going to prompt me for a few things. It's going to want to know if I want to run for all customers, for what month. So we're doing our billing for February, so we'll go ahead and filter that down for February. And then we can also do for certain customers as well. We don't have to do for all customers. In this case, I'm going to, so you can see it. But if you just needed to get an invoice from a customer, that's easily done through here as well. And so once we're here, we can go ahead and press print or email. So we're going to print it in this case, which will actually bring it to a PDF, but you also have the option to email it directly out of the system to your customers. So if you wanted to do that option instead, we can create custom email templates so you can have customized messages reach your customers when they receive these invoices, or you can have a generic one that they're all using. But it's definitely an option to be able to email directly out of the system. For now, I'll go ahead and print so you can see what the PDF would look like when they come out of the system. Okay, so this is an example of one of those PDFs. And this is a detailed invoice. So it's bringing all the information we took out of Wellsky, your order numbers, your item IDs, your different unit prices, and then bringing them into, hold on, sorry, let me bring that back a little. Putting them into a format that you can then send off to your customer in a very detailed way. So, and like I said earlier, we ran it for all our customers. It's gonna be one customer per page here, or multiple pages for those that have a lot of billing that we're doing. But like I said, this is a very detailed invoice for those customers who have that requirement for the details. These aren't the only requirement. They aren't the only way to run invoices, though. We also have the ability to run invoice summaries. So this takes that same really detailed information and summarizes it for our customers who really require just a real broad overview of what we're billing for. And so since we're doing this for February, we're going to go ahead and bring it back the day before that. And then let's do it. We know, I know I billed for the 1st of February. And just like in the invoice details, we can filter it down for customer if you just wanted to run this for one customer or just a handful of customers. In this case, once again, we'll go ahead and just view them as is with all the customers that are available. And so this is what it looks like before we bring it to PDF format. Once we export the PDF, it's going to look very similar to the detailed one we just looked at. This right now is just kind of showing us the raw data that's going to be generated when we export the invoice. So once again, we have it by customer. We have the invoice number on there that was created in Intacct when we imported the data. But instead of having all that detailed information, we're able to summarize it by the different items and then be able to split out our sales quantity versus returns that happened during that time. So then they can get a net amount of what's actually owed at the end of the month or middle of the month. And then we have another option, there's actually another invoice that is available that can summarize it by order rather than item. I don't have that up here to show, but that's another invoice our customers used for when their customers want to have an invoice summarized by order rather than item and not necessarily the detailed information. So there's lots of options we have for being able to format and process those invoices needed for those transfusion product sales. Okay, so next, we're going to look at managing non-transfusion transfusion product inventory. But right now, if you have any questions about invoicing for sales from Sage Intacct, please feel free to put them in the chat now.
I see one. How does the data come into Intacct from Wellsky?
It's a good question. So the data comes in as a CSV file, and that's how it gets exported out of Wellsky the same way. And then when it lands into a place to on your either server or computer, then it is an easy import as a CSV file.
Cool. That probably answers that. And another one I see is in Sage Intacct, once the CSV is uploaded, how do you create the invoice? What do you have to do?
It's another great question. So the invoices are actually created automatically once the information is imported. We've already, during implementation, we've already pre-configured what your invoice should look like format-wise. So then the system just does all the rest once that file's been imported.